Welcome, my connoisseurs of movies, TV show, and literature. Are you ready to shake things up? You may call me Luke Gallaroo. And for all of my new viewers, welcome. You are here to feast on my opinions of all things movie, TV, and book. And yes, for my regulars, I am posting this later than I normally would. I try to post everything on a Monday. That way you have all week to binge it. Unfortunately, we have entered bazaar season, as in craft bazaar season. And I have 3 bazaars in 3 months. That has totally ransacked my ability to read and watch things I haven't seen before. It's kind of sad, really. Because when I watch things, I like to focus on them. And this particular episode, I am talking about a book series that I read a while ago, though still very much like, even if it is full of flaws and toxic friendships. So, on that note, with friends like these, the first friendship you see is a gang of bullies that are only with the ringleader to prevent themselves from being beaten up as well. That's not a healthy friendship dynamic. That is a very toxic friendship dynamic of, we are only with you so you do not hit us. That is not it. Gross. No.
Okay, see that sentence one more time since I touched.
There, the first friendship you see is a gang of bullies that are only with the ringleader to prevent themselves from being beaten up. Ugh, gross. That is so toxic. Nobody should feel like they need to be near someone just so they don't get hurt. If your friends are making you feel like if you leave them, they're going to hurt you, tell an adult and get away from them. Because that sort of behavior does not make for healthy adult friendships. Then you have the hero worship turned foul weather friendship. And yes, I did say foul weather friendship. And that is a friendship based solely on your life is as miserable as my life, so we're going to be friends. Oh crap, you got a windfall. This isn't cool. I'm not talking to you until you become a lowly schmuck like me again. That's the friendship between the protagonist of this series and his best friend. It's really, really, really sad. And then the protagonist and his best friend add a liar to their friend group. Brilliant as this friend is, this person is, they said they would never do their friend's homework for them. Unfortunately, that's precisely what she does. Because she'll let them do their assignment and then say, well, let me look it over. I'll see how you did. The moon is full of ice, not mice. Other than that, it looks great. I'm not going to do your homework, but here, let me do your homework for you. You're not learning if you give people the answer. And that's part of the reason why everybody was making fun of the liar female before she lied to get in with the protagonist and his best friend. Because she was constantly, answers! Screw everybody else is studying. I'm going to blurt everything out. Ugh. That's not healthy either. And it screams, I am so insecure that I need attention all the time to feel validated. Ew. There is a friendship, though, that is beyond reproach. Since he does his best from before the protagonist is born until his own death does everything in his power to protect, guide, and educate the protagonist for no other reason than he is the child of his dead friends. Still not sure of the series I'm talking about? Well, it's the Potter series. And the dynamic between Remus and Harry is very healthy. He acts as a guide, a mentor. He acts as a bodyguard on many an occasion, with no thought for any reward or praise or any of it. He does it because he loved Lily and James. And Remus was always a true friend to all four Marauders. Unlike Peter, who was a fair weather friend. And a fair weather friend is the total opposite of a foul weather friend. A fair weather friend is, woohoo, everything's going great. Oh, wait, you're not the biggest and the baddest on the playground anymore? See ya. I'm going to go to the person who is. Again, not healthy. Purple. And that's what happens when you drink a lot of hot cocoa and then start talking without breathing properly. You inhale a lot of air. But how can one of the best friends in the series be such a good friend when he was in the nastiest friendship group? Simplest reason, Remus has always been kind, loving, and gentle. He was understanding. He was wise beyond his years. Specifically when he got mauled not long before he turned 5. When you go by the wider lore of werewolves, being a werewolf does not change your core personality. But in this very book, Hermione sets up the Harry Potter werewolf lore. A werewolf has no choice than to become an animal, and he forgets all of who he is, and he'll attack his best friends if he ran across them. Okay, that totally erases the entire personality and core beliefs of the wolf. It basically says who you are when you're not in wolf form doesn't matter anymore. Which is so sick and wrong and cruel. Unnecessarily cruel to werewolves. But I'm not here to discuss werewolves. I am here to explain why I am bashing the rest of the Marauders. And how they are the nastiest of friend groups in this series. Because in this book, you hear about one Sirius Black being accused of murder. Harry learns that Sirius Black murdered James Potter and his wife Lily. Now, for those of you who have read the books and seen the movies, you know that's a lie. He did not kill them directly. Wait, how can you kill someone indirectly? Very easily. Sirius Black turned his back on one of his friends because of a rumor given to him by the actual traitor. James and Sirius heard it from Peter that Remus, now that he's with the werewolves, has switched sides and is with Voldemort. I'm sorry, if James and Sirius had ever truly been Remus's friends, they would have known Peter was lying. Because Remus gave Sirius, James, and Peter everything. And they would have remembered Remus saying that I will never side with the wolf who mauled me when I was 4. And because he would never side with Greyback, who was in charge of the werewolves, he was never going to turn his back on the wizards that offered him friendship. Oh, but that isn't even the first time Sirius turned his back on Remus. Especially Remus's safety, health, and well-being. And are you going to try and tell me in the comments section that Remus was completely safe when Severus was tricked into entering the Whomping Willow? Because, unfortunately, Dumbledore would have not been able to cover up Severus Snape being attacked and possibly changed or killed by a werewolf. And thus, because Remus was contained, the Ministry of Magic would have stepped in and taken his head off as any other dangerous magical beast. Oh, that sounds like a fantastic friend, don't you think? I'm going to deliberately set up a situation where you can be killed. If not completely destroyed by your own guilt of taking out somebody you are actually trying to be nice to. I mean, when you read the context, the between the words, the between the sentences, the between the lines, James, Sirius, and Peter, from the time they made friends with Remus until their deaths, constantly told Remus that everyone else is going to turn their back on him the instant they find out he's a werewolf. And because Snape never liked Sirius and James to begin with, he thought Remus was in on the prank, thus turned his back on Remus. Even though James and Sirius can both testify that the loudest voice of "Leave Severus alone, you're not impressing Lily," by berating and bullying her best friend, was Remus. There is a fan song that I absolutely love. Heck, I like most of Shane Blair's fan songs. It's entitled Page 394, Severus Snape song. The song has a line, "Through Dumbledore's secret plan, I lost all my good friends." Well, guess what, Severus? They were never your friends to begin with. Because true friends, when they hear something that disheartens them or unnerves them about you, they talk to you about it. They don't immediately go, "Oh yeah, it's legit." They go, "Hey, can you clarify something for me? I heard this. Can you tell me what's going on?" Oh, gee, right there. But no. Everybody believed, without asking, without trying to figure out if there were extenuating circumstances, everybody believed the child that has hated Severus from the moment they met. Oh, yeah, that screams good friends. That even screams solid coworker, doesn't it? Ugh. So, whenever I sing that song aloud, particularly to my muss and fuss, I alter it to, "Through Dumbledore's secret plan, I found I had no good friends." And the whole Severus Lily dynamic is problematic. It went from childhood besties from like 5 years old or 8 years old to, "I am going to put my life and my heart on hold until she leaves my biggest bully to marry me." Gross. Ew. That's obsessive stalker behavior, not "that's my best friend, I'm going to protect her" behavior. Ugh. And what's worse is that he knew James and Sirius were jealous of his friendship, his closeness to Lily. And he ruined it with a phrase everybody knows is vile. Woof. And because I cannot stand that backstory, that canonical relationship in the fan fictions I write, and yes, I've said this before, I love writing fan fictions. I love writing legitimate stories. I postulate a theory, a massive divergence from canon, and that is Severus and Lily are half siblings through Severus's father. That is why Lily looks absolutely nothing like, nor acts anything like, her half-sister Petunia. And the whole backstory on how it happened and why it happened and how they became friends, I will not discuss on camera. But if you want, I will explain it in the comments section. Just ask. But them being siblings would make it a whole heck of a lot more wholesome and convincing that Severus was protecting Harry on the sly because he's his nephew instead of just the woman he loved child. Blech. And the whole, why was he mean to Harry throughout the whole thing? One part James, one part he was still talking to free Death Eaters. How bad would it look if Severus Snape, who has questionable loyalties to the Dark Lord anyway, is seen making nice with the boy who made the Dark Lord vanish? it would have put a hit out on Severus and Harry. So of course, Severus, to protect Harry, kept him at arm's length. And since their entire dynamic was in a war, he was never going to drop the stay back, I'm protecting you for your own good, until his role was over or ending, which ended with Nagini biting him in the freaking throat. Which is horrifying anyway, because they didn't do it right in the movie. So, going back to theories. There is a lot of theories about Dogstar or Wolfstar. You know, the Remus and Sirius shippers out there.
Dogstar is a band.
That's kind of funny. But, yeah, it's... I think they either call it Wolfstar or Dogstar for Remus and Sirius as the shipping. Which is kind of funny. And again, my theory is Rowling herself said in a massively earlier interview, long before she became controversial and outspoken about certain topics, that the wizarding world didn't care who you were sleeping with when she defended Dumbledore being homosexual. And no, that man is so far from happy, I will never refer to him as gay. Because, no, he's just a homosexual, and he's bitter about it. Because his first love broke his heart really badly by trying to weaponize his baby sister. But in this theory that I don't know if others would support, is that Sirius lied about why he left home. And it's because he and Remus were a couple. They were dating in Hogwarts, with Remus being bi and Sirius being submissive homosexual. Now, there's nothing wrong with your dynamics. And the reason why I say Remus being bi is because David Thewlis, the actor who they hired to play Remus in the Potter series, his initial thoughts on Remus was, oh, okay, he is homosexual. And he's just was raised when it was still kind of taboo to be out, because their schooling would have been in the 70s, shortly after the Queen overturned all the anti-homosexuality laws. So he started reading more, and he's like, oh, he's marrying a woman, so he's actually bi. He was with a boy in school, and now he's marrying a woman, so he's bi. Fair enough. Which suits Remus's personality, because he would love anybody who loved him. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with who or how you love someone in a legally consensual relationship. However, Sirius's family are the biggest blood purist supremacists in the wizarding world. So, learning that their eldest scion is taking it from a half-blood is infinitely worse and more shameful than giving it to a half-blood. Thus, the family said, dump your boyfriend, or turn it around so that he submits to you, or find a pure blood. Sirius said no, runs away, gets resentful that Remus is part of the reason why he was disinherited, and breaks up with him. And then hears it through Peter, through the grapevine, that Lily wants to set Remus up with Severus. And Sirius goes, ooh, 2 birds with 1 stone, and you cannot tell me he's not spiteful enough to do just that, because when you properly read between the lines about the Marauders, there is very little difference between them and the Death Eaters in their attitudes. Oh my gosh. And because he was upset that Remus was leaving him and moving on from a relationship with him just so he could have a life, he refused to talk to James and set it up to get Severus killed or transformed, thus ruining Remus's potential friendship or loving relationship with Severus. Ugh, that just screams kind, loving friend, doesn't it? Because again, Sirius, James, and Peter, if they know you're a werewolf, they're going to turn their back on you. You're breaking school rules. Dumbledore broke many a school rule to have you here. You have to shh. You can't tell people, or Dumbledore's going to get in trouble. The healthiest student relationship in that book series that I read is Seamus and Dean. Two young men from Gryffindor who have a strained relationship with the protagonist and his friend group at best. You never truly hear about the Golden Trio attempting to make friends with anybody outside of their 3. Why? Because everybody outside of Ron and Hermione and Harry say that war has nothing to do with us right now. It's for the teachers to take care of whatever threats are to the school. Let me know in the comments about other friendship dynamics in the Potter series. And yes, I left out all Slytherins for a reason. The Sorting Hat said it best when it comes to them. You will learn who your real friends are. And Draco learned the hard way. He had nobody. Crabbe and Goyle were with him when his family had favor and were in a higher standing than their fathers. The instant Lucius lost any sort of credibility amongst the Death Eaters, Crabbe and Goyle turned on Draco. Which just goes to prove that Draco was, again, the student in the most danger in the entire series. For more reasons and examples why, you can watch an older episode entitled The Forgotten Victim. It's like 7 or 8. It's way far back. I also have a character study on who the truest villain of the Potter series is in an earlier episode. But these are my opinions. Feel free to disagree. Kindness is the key to understanding. So be kind to me and be kind to each other in the comments. Tend to whatever injuries the like button has sustained through overuse. Rescue the subscribe button from zombies. Smack the bell and run to safety as the zombies go to the bell. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!